I opened the door to my wife's company's lavish party with a gift in hand, the kind of gift meant to impress, to celebrate. Champagne fizzed behind the velvet ropes, laughter mingled with clinking glasses. And then I saw him, my wife's CEO, on one knee. "Will you leave your poor, impotent husband and marry me?" he asked, loud enough for everyone to hear. The room erupted in laughter. The way he said it, the smirk in his eyes, the casual cruelty of it all, it was a performance. And she said yes. I froze, gift still in hand, heart in my throat. But I didn't react, I didn't yell, I didn't cry. I simply turned and walked away, quietly. And that's when I began to plan. I remember when we first met. She was brilliance wrapped in silk and ambition, her laugh contagious, her hands warm when she took mine. I was naive, thinking love was enough to anchor us. We dreamed together, invested together, built a life that glimmered both financially and emotionally. Back then, I trusted her implicitly. I believed in our us. I didn't see the cracks forming, not until they were wide enough to drive a truck through. At first, it was subtle. Late nights at the office, secretive smiles when she thought I wasn't looking, her phone vibrating more often than mine. I chalked it up to stress. But the patterns became impossible to ignore. The messages, the hidden calls, the way she flinched when I came home early. I discovered a thread of betrayal woven meticulously behind my back. And yet, I stayed composed. I never confronted her. Anger is for the impulsive. I am neither. I began to plan. I started small, tracing every transaction, memorizing every contract, knowing my leverage. Every trip she planned, every extravagant party, every bonus she expected, everything could be dismantled quietly, surgically. My money, my company, my rules. I watched her excitement grow. The engagement party, the flights, the jewelry, each indulgence, a test. I smiled behind my silence because they didn't know I had already begun to untangle the empire we built together. That night, the party, their laughter echoed off marble walls. I handed the gift to a passing waiter without a word. The CEO, drunk on arrogance, tried to make eye contact. I ignored him. Minutes later, I pressed a few buttons on my phone. The effect was instantaneous. Transfers reversed, credit lines frozen, luxury cars repossessed, hotel suites canceled. The party? Disbanded. Catering refunded. Security called off. Even the private jet she had scheduled vanished from the booking. Then I withdrew my 90% share of the company, $357 million. I watched from the shadows as chaos erupted. Her smile faltered, her hands trembled, the CEO's smugness cracked like glass. They tried calling, flooding my phone, 156 missed calls by the time I turned it back on. And then someone showed up at my door. They expected confrontation. I welcomed none. She stood there, a vision of shock and disbelief, framed by the darkness of my doorway. The heels she wore clicked against my marble floor, a sound that had once made me proud. Now it felt hollow. "Why," she started, voice trembling, "why are you doing this?" I studied her, savoring the moment. The perfect betrayal, finally facing the consequences. "You made your choice," I said softly. "I'm just cleaning up mine." Her lips parted. The CEO was behind her, his confidence evaporating under the weight of our combined empire vanishing before his eyes. "Please," she whispered. I shook my head. Silence, deliberate, powerful. Words are for the desperate. Actions are for the patient. I replayed the memory of her betrayal like a film reel. The shared dinners where she texted him under the table, the vacations she claimed were work trips, the way she laughed at my absence, as if my world had no significance. And yet, through it all, I remained calm, calculated, waiting. The revenge was not loud, it was surgical. Every financial lever I had pulled was precise. Every social connection I controlled quietly removed their props. The CEO's investors received notice of my withdrawals. Key clients were informed of restructuring. Her social standing became a hall of mirrors, reflecting only the emptiness of her choices. And she saw it all crumble, minute by minute. I didn't gloat, I didn't shout, I simply let it unfold. By the time the police, lawyers, and press arrived, the party was a ghost. The wealth she flaunted was inaccessible, and the man who humiliated me, he couldn't even meet my gaze. Weeks later, I sat in the quiet of my study, the city lights filtering through my window. The weight of my revenge settled not like anger, but relief. I wasn't sad. I wasn't vengeful in the way they expected. I was liberated. Her calls stopped. The CEO tried to reach me through intermediaries. All doors were closed. My life, my empire, was intact, untouched by the betrayal, because I had acted before emotion could cloud judgment. I thought of her sometimes, how she had believed love and wealth could manipulate me, how she had underestimated restraint and patience, how she had assumed humiliation could wound me more than strategy. The lesson? Pride is fragile, power is fragile, trust broken is a dangerous thing, but revenge, when measured, is devastatingly permanent. I never needed a confrontation to assert victory. I walked away in silence, letting her downfall be the narrative she never saw coming. The ultimate satisfaction is quiet, it is precise, it is complete. I've learned that betrayal reveals more than the traitor. It reveals the strength of the betrayed, and I had plenty to spare. Now, when I think back to that night, I remember the sound of laughter, the clinking of glasses, and the flash of a proposal that changed everything. But I don't remember humiliation. I remember calculation. I remember foresight. I remember power. I remember walking away. And that is the memory I cherish most.